watching.
Welcome to the Roar of the Lions UK podcast. We're again looking at our rookies and breaking down their college tape. We're now on to third round pick Ifeatu Melifonwu. Just going into Melifonwu, he is out of Syracuse. He played 23 games, making 88 tackles, 5 of those for a loss, with 1 sack, 3 interceptions, and 19 passes defended. I'm going to hand over to Ryan again just to speak quickly on him before we break down the tape, as he's leading this one again. So, Ryan.
Yeah, we're going to be breaking down tape of Ife. He's about 6'3". He's very long, lean. He's about just over 210 pounds. We're going to be watching film from their ACC matchup. Sorry, ACC from the divisional round with the Clemson Tigers. He operates mainly on the outside in the footage as a solid outside cornerback. He's running between what looks like cover 1 and cover 3. So he plays between man and deep thirds. The coverage is like of the entire defense. There is an indicator for who he is, but what we're looking for is what he does on the plays where the ball is coming towards him. But more importantly, I want to see what happens when the play doesn't come his way. If he still hustles, if he tries to get there, if he just stands around and isn't doing anything, that'll tell us more about his play style. So we're going to see a mixture of run plays and a bit of coverage as well. I've watched the film, like I say, it's great. It shows all his strengths, so it's a really solid bit of tape.
All right, so let's get to playing it. If I can put this up. Okay, here we go. Nice explosion in that first play, backpedaling a little bit and then reacting very quickly.
Yeah, like I say, it's hard because, like I said, the running back catches the pass is already towards him, so he not a lot he could do there. So he's up in press here, tracking the receiver downfield. He's with him step for step, so Trevor's never going to go after him there. Dropping into coverage now, deep thirds.
Seems to have nice footwork to start with, at least. Does he tend to play on this near side most of the time, on the right-hand side?
Yeah, looks to be. That there, he saw stacked receivers, so he was on his own with 2 receivers breaking out. It looked to be a decoy, but you won't often see that in the NFL. So trips, they've dropped into a cover 3 here. There we go. He's taken. There we go. Oh. Now that there was not. That there was. Well, there is an issue there. So when
that was the Lions play,
the deepest man, yeah.
That was a Lions defensive play from last year.
Let's have a look at that again. Just slow that down.
Of course, he'll be lining up against Powell.
Yeah, he passes him off. Like I say, Melifonwu should have followed that guy in. Like I say, as it passed off in zone coverage. Unfortunately, like I said, this does go for a touchdown.
Should he be following the guy inside? Does it kind of flip to man at that point, or do you think he should be holding it on the outside? Because if he holds his position once he's passed him off,
that won't happen. Like you say, the guy at the bottom comes out very late. So you see, like the nickel corner, he basically puts his hand up and says, like, that guy's gone past me. He then comes underneath and inside. Like I say, Melifonwu tracks him, follows him in. Like I say, but gets beaten when he breaks back outside. And then, like I say, it's just a leg race to the corner. So between all of them, they didn't cover their zones very well there.
This is a pretty fearsome offense that he's against, though.
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, you've got the best offense in football, and they do well.
You've got Lawrence under centre, you've got Etienne in the backfield, Powell and Rogers at wide receiver, and just a whole host of guys who are going to hurt you. So I think I maybe have to take that into context, maybe a little bit as well for this.
All right, let's have a look at this next one.
So he's given a lot of room, cover 3 at the bottom of the field. So Trevor pump fakes, but then goes deep, and Ife makes a great play. he tracks him and he uses the sideline as his friend. He pins the receiver to the sideline. So he tries to sell a pump fake there to make jump, picks him deep, and that is a potential interception.
Is there an argument that should be an interception?
Yep. You could say, like you say, he got hands on the ball, he ends up batting it down. The receiver is essentially out of bounds by the time it gets there, so he's done his job.
It'd have been a pretty decent interception, that though.
One's about to say a bit of a wheel putt, like I say. There he's over the top in a blanket, and like you say, he could have essentially picked that. I think he gets both hands on it.
And he has a receiver on his back as well.
I think he's just more happy, like I say, to see it go incomplete.
Lovely hips, though, flipping, because he's got his eyes to the back of the play for the most of the time, and then flips and sees the ball early, actually.
And
gives himself a chance.
You've got to think against Cornell Powell, who's about 5'10". So when you're 6'3", he has got a big advantage in the jump ball.
Doesn't seem to have any problem following them stride for stride.
No, I appreciate that he made the effort to track across the field, even though the field player's not coming his way. So they've gone spread. He's giving the receiver a big gap. Right, that's perfect there. The receivers crossed over, so they kept both of their assignments. You see one pass under the other, so the corners flip, which is textbook. So they had man assignments. They're giving.
Beats his man well there.
Beats man, that's a great play. There's some proper penetration there from the front, defensive front. Right, so their inline receiver is coming up to press him.
Could have been pinged for that, maybe.
Could have done, like you say, Lawrence there sells the fake pass like he's going to fire it straight at him, but then drops out.
Oh, he's giving him a yard there.
Yep, like you say, the running back ended up just coming to him. It's the only reason he makes the tackle. He didn't shed the block there very well. Like I say, the receivers pressed him in. Like I say, he just helps him get out of bounds, but that's because he's given such a big cushion as well.
Maybe that's what Brad Holmes was talking about when he talked about his ability of playing off man rather than press man.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this was the scheme, though. These defensive backs were told to give these guys that are fast like 7 to 10 yards all the time. So playing the run's never easy.
That was nice by the nickel.
Yeah, nickel did well there.
I think a few guys got drafted off this defense, didn't they, this year?
Yeah, all three.
It wasn't a bad one.
That was actually quite nice from Melifonwu. We passed him off quite nicely there.
Yeah, he closed down on that inside guy. He took it away. Right, he's coming up to the line. Like I say, give him nowhere to go there.
He is open for the reception, though, if he does want it.
Nah.
Yeah, something happens there. Someone misses a tackle like that. Someone just blew that. Because I noticed that was a read option. So Lawrence is going to decide whether to keep it or hand it off. Decides to pass it up the middle. There, someone blows that tackle.
In fairness, that's a really good run, though.
There's nothing anyone can do there.
Yeah, that was a really good run.
Now playing very deep, so this could be a third or fourth down.
Does well there.
Yeah, classic screen pass. He sheds the block, wraps the ankles, and brings the receiver down for a minimal gain.
Let's just slow that down.
There he is, like I say, comes underneath, wraps up. Good tackle. It's not many wide receivers are going to be able to block him. Is that strong?
That's what we need, though. Good tacklers. There was far too many busted tackles last year. Far too many.
Doesn't mind getting physical, does he?
No, like I say, they were getting at it then. I think even after the whistle. That's the motioned, so his assignment's changed. They've now got twins on this side.
Oh, he dropped that.
Got the interception, yeah.
It looks like he's fairly adept at changing his assignments. He doesn't get confused by it. Playing press. That's about as well defended as it could be.
Yeah.
That's quite encouraging.
He broke it up. Like I say, you can't actually tell in that play, but the receiver drops the ball, so he actually wins that battle. It looks like he makes a reception, but in the end, I think he forces an incompletion. He's willing to give up the inside, which is fine. Like I say, he's all over him, catches it, but like I say, he forces the ball out, it squirms out on the floor.
That's really nice. I like that a lot.
He's now at the top of the field.
Just needs to be careful he doesn't get a bit.
It's very notable when they're in press.
Yeah, because the gaps, they leave such big gaps. That was lucky. They gave up outside contain there. They only just got to him.
It's really hard to evaluate corner play, isn't it? I haven't appreciated this much before.
Very hard. Because often it looks like they're not doing anything.
But if they switch off, you'll know about it soon enough. I guess that's the thing about the position. You only really notice them when they're doing something badly wrong or very, very right.
If you're not calling a corner's name, then he's fine. But as soon as you're saying his name, he's doing something good or something bad.
I didn't know whether this was a thing in his draft profile or not, but I thought he had a problem with his agility. But it doesn't appear to be.
I think that the problem's when it gets him behind him. When he keeps the ball in front of him, he's got.
Yeah, that's why he gives a good coverage. Like I say, in his draft profile, I think the Draft Network, they did say he loses speed when he tips. Like I say, that's a play there where he comes down and makes a tackle there. So it pitches to the running back on the outside. He starts that deep, so they still make a decent gain, but he manages to come down on the outside, and I think they all bottle him up.
That's it. His intangibles in front of the ball are absolutely fine. His tackling's on point. His coverage is good, and he's working against some top-notch receivers here. So I don't think you can put that in question. I mean, obviously, no one's going to come out the fully polished product out of college, but what he does well, he does really well.
Plus, in the NFL, no one sits off this deep. Like I say, no one. You don't play like this. Say it's a bit amateurish to give a guy like 10 yards on every play.
Apart from Matt Patricia's defense of last year.
We're not bitter. We're not bitter at all about it.
No, not at all.
Trips to one side, so the side of a single receiver plays man. So he's got a man assignment, tracks him across the field. We get a big play there. I think that was a broken tackle.
God, look at the room he gives him. It's huge.
Oh, this is interesting.
They stack all three, so he comes up to the line of scrimmage.
Nice.
Because he knows it's a screen.
He sees through that.
He did that really well. He recognised that was going to be a screen.
And I think this is one of the things that stands out against this sort of play action style passing. We struggled so much last year. We need guys who can blow these plays up quick. And he is more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, that, like I said, the receiver absolutely whiffed on that block. He had one job, and like you say, and he let Ifeatu get to him. Like I say, you never see this kind of look like it's in the pros, but he is really good at deciphering it. He knows which one the reception's going to and which two are going to come out to block.
Looks so weird, doesn't it?
I never see teams stack 3 receivers, but it makes sense to do a screen like this.
Yeah, it really does. Just to look at the way he engages the block, he could try and go through his blocker and get to him that way, but by kind of punching and pushing him off, it allows him the ability to go either way and kind of almost two-gap. If you were on the defensive line, you're kind of not trying to penetrate, but just trying to stop going either way. He really kind of gives himself more options on this play.
Yeah, he just shrugs more than anything. Like I said, he don't fanny it about. Some of them just try to get too engaged. So he realises, the one at the back is dropping back, sheds inside.
He pushes him away, but he doesn't follow through with it. He allows himself to get the space. All right. Apologies for my annotation skills. It's not the best. Thank you to everyone who's watching live, or if you're watching on the record, we really appreciate you being on. If you want to ask any questions or make any comments, please feel free. Apart from Jason House.
No receiver here. So this here, like I say, comes in, there you go, smacks the running back. He recognises, like I say, it's another option. Lawrence either keeps it or hands it off. And he makes the tackle on the edge.
I tell you what,
that's
if Lawrence
nice.
had kept that, he would gone.
Running back there should have gone to the outside. He should have bumped out. I don't know why he came in, but he read it.
Look at the space.
He's kept it. He's throwing. Another pass broken up by, I think that's probably Cisco.
I say he gets sort of put in a no man's land there, doesn't he?
Yeah, they put him on an island there. He just attacks the one deep safety.
But that's the trouble. Giving him so much space, he just cuts in and he can't close that gap. I mean, that's obviously a scheme thing.
That's a great play with that. Trill Williams, 14.
Another one who got drafted.
Goes up in press. The man on his side.
Just had a quick comment about that play that he did really well on the screen from C. Gerald. He said he contained outside first, then close for tackle, trusting and using his teammates as key to defense. Absolutely true. Very, very true. Just to mention as well, you guys on the stream are probably seeing it about half a minute after us. So if you make a comment, we'll have to come back to it later, but you'll see. Anyway, here we go. Oh, he's got good feet.
Yeah.
Lovely little sidestep.
I said now he tries to bounce out.
See, I think that's a feature of a lot of our draftees this year. Their feet, the short-term agility, the ability to get through these. You look at Barnes, you look at Levi, they're so good on their feet. They're so good in the short, in their agility terms.
Tackle, yeah. This is where he doesn't shed his block. So this is a reverse. Lawrence rolls out one way, throws back. Let's say the receiver does actually trap. I think it's the nickel that makes the tackle here. So they seal him inside, like you say. So he gets there. It's a big tackle. He gets walloped.
I think it's one of those, though, where I think the play can go so much worse. When Lawrence motions out one way, you think some corners might just switch off, but he sticks with the play. And while he doesn't shed his block, he does get off the block soon enough that he kind of contains how big the play can be.
Yeah. Like I said, for some reason, they decided to do that play where the defense is heavy on that side. Why would you run that play against the strong side of the defense? It was an odd play choice. Yeah, the lineman that goes out to him doesn't really want to engage him. If someone else goes out there, they can block him into tomorrow. But
it's
79 was not that interested.
The second that receiver turns, though, he notices he's on it. He reads the play. It's just a good block, so he can't make a play on it.
such a big cushion.
Oh, why would you do that? Rogers and Powell are both very good at running routes.
Yeah, this is a pick 6, I think. Yeah, this is where the score very interesting.
Is that Trill Williams? I think
14. Yeah. By Clemson standards, this game, even though they won it, they were terrible.
He's still giving them a massive. That's a notable play, I think, just there. He gives him a massive cushion even on this break.
Yeah, this will get knocked out of him. There'll be none of this. Like you say, there'll be none of doing this at the next level.
I don't like that play.
No, because that's it. That's just easy completion. That is.
Yeah, they were more. They were. I think at this point they were just like you say, just giving up the easy passes, just chunky, don't play.
Yeah, and I'm not like I say. I think it's scheme based because I think he has the ability to read the plays quick. He doesn't need that amount.
They're scared of getting burnt.
Yeah, but he's shown that he doesn't need.
Good tackle there.
That.
Comes down low.
Yeah, he's not getting by him, is he?
No.
He's had a fair amount of action so far. I don't think we've seen him miss a tackle as yet.
No, and that's one of his strong points. His tackling is on par completely, and we need guys like that. So I was saying there's just far too many missed tackles in our defense last year. Far too many.
Yeah. See, Gerald just mentioned on that play we were talking about before, where he didn't quite shed his block. He said he did all right on that play, forced him into the rest of the defense, and was closed with them.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. He didn't win the rep, but I'm not sure he lost it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is scheme based, and the other side is just as deep. You're absolutely right. I think they're just in fear of the arm.
Yeah, that was a good play there. Like you say, Trevor has to scramble and try for the first down, but he comes and crashes down and he forces him out of bounds. He recognises straight away that he's rolling, forces him out of bounds.
So 3rd and 4 here. So only playing off about 6 yards now.
Which, was far too many. Poor scheme. Yeah, that is where the fact that he sits 6-7 yards off kills him, because this is such an easy completion.
I guess
look where he is, and look where, like I said, look where the receiver is at the sideline.
And that's not the player's fault there. That's just what he's been told to do.
Yeah.
But so what's the coverage here? Is this quarters or is it cover 2?
It looks like 0. It looks like they're all deep. It looks like everyone drops deep.
I'm just kind of thinking in this play, if he's playing a deep quarter, then he's going to be worried about either of these two guys at the top possibly threatening deep, here or here. So when the play rolls forward, he kind of knows that the guy in front of him is the guy he's got to kind of have primary focus on, but he's kind of worried about someone else getting in behind him too. And I think you can kind of see him keep eyes on the slot receiver, worrying about him going behind him, and it kind of freezes him a little bit. And just roll it forward and see whether that's... He kind of follows the slot.
The corner at the bottom here seems to come up, so at least 4 of them drop.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them at the top, so like you say, if they've got a deep half at the top, there's 2 of them. Like you say, one of them's got closing down. They've just been told to sit off too deep. Nearly gets the first down. It's worrying when they get to the red zone like here. Like this is where you really don't want to see them sit so deep. Like that, he does it exactly again. That was an identical play.
Yeah, you'd think from a coaching standpoint, you'd be seeing this. You just
Yeah,
can't.
you tell him to come closer to the line, just a few yards. Look at that. Look how far away he is. Like I say, because
I
he's
mean, Trevor
just.
Lawrence has got one of the best arms in years. You can't just give him a free throw like that. He'll make it 100 times out of 100. You're not giving your cornerback a chance to win.
See, Gerald just said that play before looked like man coverage,
It's even
and that he
worse.
started to go deep.
It looked like he took a step infield, like you said. He was looking at the slot guy and he took a step inwards.
Yeah. Impressed now. Haven't seen him be particularly physical at the line. Kind of pressure them a bit.
No, he's not exactly the most physical.
Which is weird because he's strong.
Maybe it's just utilising it, though. You don't really see him often up in press, do you? No, not in this game, anyhow.
Yeah, like I say, I've no idea where we'll use him.
I feel like he's got the attributes to go to the outside corner and do well, but it depends on the help he gets, I guess. It's the problem with Akuda last year. It was very little support for him. He just got left on an island so many times on his own. It's not helpful to a rookie corner to be like that.
No. His tracking ability is very, very good, though, given how good this receiver core is. Generally speaking, a couple of times when they've had their kind of 5-step and out, he's not been the best at that. But that's just potentially the amount of
space
he's giving him, yeah. But in terms of going deep, he's matching a lot of them stride for stride.
Because you see it all the time. He gets, the receiver gets a few runs head start and then cuts in, and he's already at nearly full speed. Whereas if you're
That's a good play.
got to get into speed.
That was a nice break up there.
Lovely coverage. He's all over him. You can't play that better.
Not about following him, no.
"10 yards off again. Six-point game at this point. They were 13 back, so they must have just scored. See, Gerald's just had another comment in there. He says, "Sorry for too many comments. He's coached a lot of high school football and he hasn't broken down tape in a while, so he's having fun with it." And feel free, man. We welcome all of the analysis that you can bring. We are amateurs at this. We watch a lot of football, but when it actually comes down to breaking down how good someone is, their technique, that sort of thing, it's hard.
That one. He blew that then.
As I say, our first time doing this was last weekend. So
this is his first. This is his first missed tackle, and it's a big one.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, like I say.
No. Again, you're looking at who he's against, though.
Let's have a look at it again.
This is just the case of he just takes the wrong angle.
It is, but it's also a good receiver play as well. He is up against a good caliber opposition here. Clemson receivers are no dummies when it comes to.
So one comes in and chips the nickel, like I say, and he has to square up to him, but he loses the outside contain.
That is an excellent first step from the receiver, though, just to get to the outside.
Yeah,
that's as much good play from the receiver as it is, maybe slack play from Iffy.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, sometimes you're going to get that in the NFL, especially. You're going to get guys who are going to beat you occasionally. It's just a fact of life. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Could have won this game, Syracuse. Another screen. Like I say, comes down, makes the tackle.
Kind of missed him a bit on the spin move, though.
Yeah, he does get lucky that he's, like you say, pretty much still forces him out of bounds, luckily. He turns back in, yeah.
I do hope Syracuse have got some better backs to replace them all this year. Otherwise, they're going to struggle a bit.
I think luckily they've got one of the best young ones in the country. As a day, though, they were absolutely brilliant, all the defensive backs.
In terms of that play just now with a missed tackle, you said the fake got him, stutter and go, gets them every time. It's so true, it's so effective, it's simple, but it just works.
Yeah.
Another screen. There you go, he does much better on that tackle.
Yeah. I think the vast majority of his players, his tackling is very good. I don't think that can be put into doubt there.
Oh,
Wears up to him, gets him a bit high, but he manages to bring him down. He is flagged for that. I think it might be a face mask. He tackles him very high, and then there's a flagging.
yeah. I mean, it's almost a clothesline.
Yeah. But yeah,
goal.
he did give up a big chunk.
I know we're not a fan of this penalty, but illegal use of hands might have been the call there.
It just it just gives us such a me a twitch. It gives me a twitch when I hear that.
Into next week there. When they get to the second level, he's still no chance there.
You see this? They're right next to their own red zone, and they're still giving these receivers all the space just to break out into the end zone. It's odd.
2-point conversion.
Ooh. And again.
He's lined up against Amari Rogers there. Gives him nothing.
Stuffed it.
Gives him absolutely nothing.
They must have whiffed on something, Syracuse, maybe on the kickoff.
Yeah, because they've come straight back to the end zone after the 2-point conversion. And suddenly it's a 19-point game. So they turned over, I think. That's where the game got away from them. It went from 6 points to 19 points very quickly.
And now even more, 26.
Yeah, for 3 quarters, this was like the best game of the whole week.
Gerald was just saying on that high tackle, he reached too high instead of wrapping up.
I think that's just it's a little bit of an experience on his part, I guess, isn't it? These are little things that you iron out as you go along.
They've taken Trevor out at this point.
Oh, have they got DJ in?
Yeah. 5 DJ Uigalele.
I love DJ so much. I hope we draft him in 2 years. If Goff doesn't do well, I hope Goff does well, but if not...
He's primed for a big year.
Oh, God, yeah. If he gets a Heisman this year, then he's going to be big news going into next season.
Up and press. Show us more of it. Ooh.
Stays with him, gives him nothing.
You kind of showed him the inside, though. If he'd just gone, I think he would have been beat there.
Unless he's already seen it's a run play by then. Yeah, he's already seen it's a run play.
I'm quite impressed with this overall, especially against an offense of this caliber.
Yeah, like you say, you don't always learn a lot, like you say, like against how bad the Arizona State defense was for Amon-Ra, but this is like an elite offense. Like I say here, he recognises that he's gone underneath, so he leaves his assignment, comes down.
Only 40 seconds left in this tape now, so probably only 2 more plays. Oh, got a bit aggressive with that one.
No,
DJ literally just came in and handed the ball off 10 times until the final tick. Barely threw a pass.
No, it's going to be good to see him get to show off his full range of skills this year.
Oh, that was flew.
Especially with Justin Ross back from injury.
Yeah. That's going to do a lot of damage, that combo. Oh, that's good. Sticks with him. Guy cuts back in, doesn't give him any room.
Yeah, I think he threw over the middle there.
I think, looking at that, you see the strengths of his game there. You see his tackling's really good. You see his coverage is really good. It just, some plays he's up against an elite offense, and sometimes you lose against an elite offense.
Yeah, I think we've actually got time. Sorry.
No, I was about to say there's not much you can do about that, but you can see the aspects of his game where he flourishes, and there's a lot to like about what you see about him.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. Plus, he had to play about 40 minutes because the offense kept turning the ball over. He must have been knackered.
Especially, a lot of the times he's lined up against Amari Rodgers there, the premier receiver as well. So it's not the easiest guy. I mean, God, how many yards and touchdowns he got last year? It's no enviable assignment, that one.
No. I mean, not talking about enviable assignments as well, but we've gone through that video actually really quite quickly. The other one that we have is versus UNC, who obviously have a pretty good offense as well. That's only 17 minutes long, so I reckon it'll take another 20-25 minutes. Do you want to go through that too?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, because these will have legitimate deep threats in Diami Brown and Sarai Wale, so we might see him get picked on more over the top here.
And hopefully we might see some more aspects of his run blocking, because that's meant to be fairly decent as well for a corner. God. It's an embarrassment of Richard's UNC had last year.
God, that guy's fast who was covering there, and he's stuck with him.
That's Daz Newsome, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Until I see numbers, I can't tell. I know 5 was Diami Brown. Other than Daz Newsome.
Oh.
I can't stand the fact that the Bears got him so late.
God, that was a really nice play.
Like you say, I think he was only mad then because he stumbled and the other guy made the tackle. He does get beaten here on the inside.
Yeah, but he runs him right into another tackle as well.
Yeah, that he's got Diami Brown. That's number 5.
So, like we said earlier, if he's not making his tackles, he's contributing to the play.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
Did I say his run defense was decent? Sorry.
I
put the curse. In fairness, this is probably the best running back pair in college football last year.
This is the first real blunder on tape. Like you say, he does not get off this block at all when he gives up the contain.
Carter and Williams.
This is the big tackle.
Yeah, Carter and Williams were a hell of a pairing though. So again, up against the best tandem in college football, it's not easy.
The ACC is the best division in football, pretty much. So I think it's pretty damn hard as well.
Oh, poor Sam Howell. He's going to have to learn it with an entire new offense this year.
Right, he's throwing it at him. Like I say, I think he actually completes that. That's just a broken play.
So he sticks with him.
Yeah, Howell scrambles all the way around, gets the guy to come back. He sticks with him. Like you say, I think this is just one of those opportunistic plays.
Oh, what a play.
Yep.
2-on-2.
It's great how he gets in so close and, no penalty-based things there.
He recognises that he's going back to help the quarterback.
Yeah, he just keeps his coverage legal and about as close as you can get.
This is 4th and 7 right here.
Yeah, they go out to trips.
And they complete. Ooh, shifty tackle. He's still giving them a big cushion more often than not, but I guess, like you say, it's because of the legit deep threat that they have.
Brown and Newsom are just two of the biggest burners who are in this draft. So yeah, probably understandable. They did give him some room.
What they picked on him.
I think there was an offside there, so they had a free play.
Yeah, he gave it as an incomplete as well, like I say. I'm pretty sure this goes, I don't think he completes it in bounds.
Yeah,
No,
way out of bounds.
overthrows him. So, but like I say, he did well to pin him back into the corner.
It's good coverage again. Howell would have to drop that on a dime to have completed that.
Touchdown on that one.
Guys,
Oh,
He blows that out route up.
That's a wonderful tackle. But again, it's just because he sat so far off, the completion's easy.
He does well to hang on to that.
5-yard completion. Oh.
Does it again, receiver drops it. I think that receiver crapped himself because he knew he was going to get smacked.
Also, I think it came off the hands of the slot guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It goes all over the place, that does.
He should have just lit him up. Would have been illegal.
3rd and 5th.
Goes up pressing.
Don't get burned here, whatever you do. Don't give him the easy.
Oh,
that's good. That's great coverage.
That's down to him, that interception.
Yeah, because he's just completely wrapped round the guy and doesn't give Howell an easy pass.
Oh, hang on. I wanted to see that play again. I thought that was...
So did I. They didn't replay it for some reason.
As I say, he's just draped all over his man there. There's no way Howell can get that in.
See, Gerald's just said if they're that deep, it's probably because they've been told to make sure they don't get beat deep and tackle underneath.
Yeah. I get why they're doing it, but it explains why the completions are happening, I guess. But I think
it explains why Syracuse are so bad.
Yeah, looking at his tackling ability, it does give you a chance to see his tackling ability in full motion, though, which is great. He does hit hard.
Explodes on the break. The small little tug to pull him back, but
he gives that as a drop. That's why he said he dropped the interception. That's why they got a running play. Didn't complete it, I don't think. I'm not sure. It looked like it
bounced off. It looked incomplete, but
I'm pretty sure this is picked.
Weren't it a 3rd down though? Is that why they're not celebrating it? We're 3rd and 5.
So it looks like the referee here gestures an incomplete pass.
13's got it. Has 13 got it?
Yeah, 13's got it.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, definitely an interception.
But yeah, again, he's draped over him as far as he can be without using illegal means, which is just really good to see. Got to make it difficult for the QB to try and get his passes in. Something just, again, we didn't do last year. Just these short to medium passes were so easy.
Oh, there's that play again.
Yeah, they showed it 2 plays later.
Again, it's the Army Brown again, isn't it? This is only 6 plays removed from him getting hit. So, again, he's probably still worried about getting hit.
Gerald's just said it's not as bad as Patricia's defense when he said Syracuse's defense is bad.
That is very true. Gerald's with us. They're on defense a lot, aren't they? Who's the Syracuse quarterback?
I think it was probably Tommy DeVito, who was terrible. Their offense absolutely sucked. That's why they're probably the worst, might be the worst team in the whole division, other than Duke.
I don't remember. I mean, I haven't followed college for very long, but I don't remember Duke being relevant for a long time.
No, they're a basketball school. That's where Zion came from, I think. But that's where Daniel Jones came from. So he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in a long time. They're terrible at football.
I don't know. I'm in the market. I still like Daniel Jones. I still think he'll be a good QB long term.
Short term, I think he'll be out of the league, but you know. Never mind.
Yeah, but to be honest, me, you, or Ryan could have walked into that offensive line last year and done better. It was pretty atrocious.
Gerald just said his high school defensive scheme is better than Patricia's. I can't say you're wrong. I can't say you're wrong.
I reckon we could come up with one on a piece of paper, and we don't know what we're doing as defensive coordinators, and ours will probably be better as well.
That's a really he tossed that receiver off him.
I want to see that again because I kind of took my eyes off that a bit.
He makes a very good tackle again. So the running, he's got his eyes on running back the whole time. Look at that, throws the receiver and then blows him up.
Gets low, doesn't he?
Love it. Receiver's not happy, but
he's got to get low because, like I say, those are two well-built running backs. I think that's Michael Carter.
Very physical with the receiver there.
I think that's his style, though, isn't it? He is very hands-on and physical.
Yeah, but perhaps too much for the pros.
Oh, he's going to get flagged. I have no doubt he'd probably get flagged.
I think that's going to be the case in his first year, though, while you make the transition, isn't it?
Even if it's just illegal contact, you know?
Well, to be honest, we get flagged when there's no flag to be had, so he's not going to stand much chance, is he? So I'm still not bitter, but...
We're seeing everything on tape that we saw in the previous video, I think, though. It's consistent.
Yeah. And
there we go. Got another one. Oh, no, it went incomplete.
And the thing is, this is against two of the best offenses last year. So it's very encouraging to see it against such a high level of opposition. You've probably
sorry.
As I say, you've got last year's number one pick, possibly this year's number one pick at quarterback. A whole wide array of running backs and receivers who got
great tackle. That was a great tackle.
Exploded to the ball and wrapped up, didn't he?
Yeah.
The technique is there. It is that 5-step and out, though, that the scheme is allowing for it, I know, but he's just so far off from it.
Yeah, I put that down to schematics. He's got to be, because when he's at the line of scrimmage, he does a lot better with his coverage.
I'm pretty sure like the Saints and that over the years have played a fair bit of like man and cover one. So Aubrey Pleasant won't be doing none of this 7-yard drop crap.
No, and the thing is, he's against. It can't be understated how rapid these two receivers are. They're two of the fastest receivers in this draft, so it's hard when you're playing so far off them. If they've got a head of steam built up, it's hard to keep up with them.
Jared just had nice close on that tackle, that one that you referred to a moment ago. Right.
They're not even throwing at him this game, like I say. I think they don't know what to do with him.
No, his closing speed's really, really good.
Yeah. He caused that interception as well.
Yep.
And, because it was one of the big things we highlighted.
Which is why he didn't get many interceptions himself, because, like I said, other people were mopping up his breakups and deflections. That's why I say he made the All-ACC second team, because he made about 20 deflections. So he's got an eye for the ball. He just never seems to get his hands on it.
As long as he breaks up the passes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's 7. There's Cisco, the ball hawk. God, I'd have loved him. If we'd have got both of these, I'd have been laughing.
Thing is, he's working with some talented guys in the secondary this year, so you've got guys who are going to be able to complement him, just like here.
Just want to have a look at it again because he sticks with him so tight. I almost think that it's maybe even too tight, but sticks with him stride for stride. He's almost on top of him. Ball was there, and he allows Cisco to make a play on the ball by being so close to the man.
And that's so refreshing to see for one of our players who can do that, who can stay stride for stride, man to man, especially with someone who's so quick.
Steve O's just said the way Melifonwu closes in on the ball playing off coverage makes me think that he can play safety. I
Yeah,
can't argue with that.
I'd like to see him play safety.
I don't know. I'd love to see him at outside corner. Me, I know we have him, but I guess he can be used as a hybrid when the formations change. But I think his outside coverage ability is really good, and at the minute we still lack a guy on the outside, a premier guy.
But at least we have some mediocre guys. We don't have a mediocre.
Well, no, I guess
safety.
that's the reasoning, isn't it? Even if we don't play him at corner, you've still got Okuda, Oruwariye, Yelder, and Dunbar. But at safety, we've got precious little. So, but I don't know. I just love seeing him play outside corner, and I just think he's got the skills to translate it there. And I'd rather keep him there, but I'm sure he'll find his way in somehow.
7-6 this game, early in third. They've done really well to keep this tight.
I don't think that many teams keep North Carolina that quiet for so long.
3rd and 5 here. Swing pass and gets there.
Again, nice and physical.
He doesn't mind getting into it, does he?
No. And yeah, against some of the receivers we've got in our league, you need that. You need the physicality because there's some big guys who are very strong. You need someone who can match up with them.
Adams, Thielen, Jefferson.
Whoever the Bears have got, which is, no, I'm joking. Obviously, Robinson's a big one, but
Did a nice tackle
outside of Robinson.
That was a nice tackle over middle.
Yeah.
Oh, let's have a look at that again. Didn't really catch a huge amount of that, but yeah, that was good.
That's it. It's his closing speed again. It doesn't hit too early. As soon as his ball's in his hands, bang, he's down.
He explodes into the tackle.
And I think that's the thing, when we highlighted Barnes last week, that's something he does similar. His closing speed's just amazing. The second he sees where the play's going, bang, he's in and he makes the tackle. And we need guys like this so bad. Because we just didn't have that in the team last year at all. Flag.
That's what I mean about getting really physical.
Yeah.
I want to play that again because
receiver wants nothing to do with it.
Well, he really goes at the receiver on this play, though. I play it at full speed because otherwise I don't think you quite will get it. But the receiver's running straight at him and he just gets in his way.
Knocks him off, yeah. Sticks with him. Doesn't give him any room.
Just to go through... Sorry.
No, I was about to say, it just have to be a very accurate pass to get it into him there, how close he's covering him again.
Yeah.
Really got to thread it through an eye of a needle.
Just go through a couple of the comments. C. Perry has said he feels like the DB room is very underrated and young with multiple hybrids that have high ceilings. And, with Okuda, Oruwariye, Melifonwu, can't argue with that. Even Dunbar's only 29 and he's had one really super year. So, I think you're right.
That's the thing. There's so many... We were talking about this with our guest earlier, our interviewee. There's a lot that can go right, and if it goes right, this could be a really good year. If all these guys in the secondary, if Walker reclaims his old form, if Okuda has a breakout second year, if Oruwariye gets more consistent, if Melifonwu comes in, you've got the makings of a very young, talented secondary.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of what-ifs at the minute.
It is. C. Gerald said, I think they want players that can move to a couple of spots. If they can change schemes with limited substitutions, it's a huge advantage. And Steve O said, we do have cornerbacks with potential that need to live up to it. I just want us to be able to put our most talented players on the field at the same time. He can be a chess piece that plays at safety or at cornerback, all really valid points. I think that hybrid point in changing schemes with limited substitutions is massive. Oh, how holding on to that far too long.
Still just a touchdown and a field goal to this point for them. That's not like That's not like UNC. Not that year.
I've got to admit, I'm finding it hard not trying to watch watch Sam Howell just because of the impact, of him being in the draft next year.
I feel sorry for him in a way. If he'd have declared this year with that offense he's had, his stock would be so high, but he's going to have to do it with a lot lesser quality offense this year.
That's what I'm going to learn more about him.
Yeah,
that he gets blocked and driven so far downfield then because he starts off so back.
The thing is, once it's clear that it's running towards him, he's the only guy there. I think he needs to close on it. He backs off.
Yeah, he backs off. That is a.
The thing is, it's going to be a big play either way, whether he gets beat on this or not. It's going to be a big play, so he might as well try and win upfield and make the tackle. Have a look at it again. It's coming towards him now. It's clear he's the only man there, and he backs off and backs off.
He has no idea where the running back is until he's about at least 20 yards downfield. He never even looked at him.
but don't forget, Carter already beat him once. He's probably got that in his mind as well. The first time he committed early and he got past him.
Gerald's just said they have the same flexibility with some of their linebackers and linemen. And C. Perry has said Mike Ford wasn't a slouch either, and those African boys, I think they're going to tear it up this year. I hope you're right, man. I hope they do.
Well, the thing is now they've got great coaching. I mean, Glenn and himself. Glenn was
He was at the reception there over the middle.
Yeah, Glenn was coveted by so many teams that it's exciting to have a guy like him who's going to come and put his mark on these. And Aubrey Pleasant's in there.
He wasn't close enough there, were he?
Just doesn't manage to get the wrap.
You think on the whole as a game, though, he's been pretty solid with it.
Yeah.
Again, this is an offense which is going to beat you on occasion. There's just nothing you can do about that. It's got the guys who are going to win occasionally.
It has to be physical here.
No. Not with that backfield. You're not stopping them on a 1 yard line. Screens out.
Oh. There's a commitment in Melifonwu's play I just like. He does great to avoid the touchdown there.
And if you think how long
he gets just to the edge there and saves a touchdown on that big reverse play.
And if you think how long they've been on the field at this point, because they've only got 6 points, they've not, vast majority of this play has been Carolina. They must be getting tired.
Kind of leads with his head a bit, but
it's still a good tackle. At least he made the tackle in the way he felt most effective. Yeah.
Game's basically over at this point.
Yeah, as soon as he gets to fourth, like Clemson, they just collapsed.
Trouble is, when you've been on the field that much and you're up against a backfield like that, they're eventually going to wear you down. And I think this is what the problem we saw with the Lions a lot last year. Our defense was just out there for so long. It would often start games well, but it would just get tired because it just couldn't keep up the performance levels it needed to.
Yeah, he got blocked in. He got blocked inside there.
About another minute of this.
It's a great tackle from whoever got in the backfield there.
That was a good tackle as well. I like how sticky he is.
Yeah, he doesn't get shook off very easy, does he? There. A little bit of contact, just enough.
players are coming thick and fast now. So there's so much you can learn from these run plays.
I say you feel sorry for this Syracuse defense, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like
They
the
played their
Bears
hearts out.
It's like the Bears one last year. Just having to play 35, 40 minutes every game. Although I didn't feel sorry for them.
Okay, so that's all the games we have. Let's try and boil down the tape that we've seen maybe for the last 5 minutes or so. In the previous tape, we talked about, maybe a main strength and a main weakness. Ryan, what do you think from having watched some of his other tape and this? What do you pick out for Iffy?
I'd say his main weakness was, like you say, sometimes, like you say, he got caught where his eyes shouldn't be looking. Like you say, sometimes he wasn't aware of what was inside of him. That one of those players where, like you say, he backed off that running back that was coming at him. There was quite a big gain. He didn't realise the running back was coming at him for 10, 20 yards because he was too focused on the receiver. So I think it's just the tendency to not look. I think the issue of sitting off too deep is a scheme issue. I think Aubrey Pleasant will get that out of him. He'll make him more physical at line of scrimmage, because I often see he starts to play like in a correct stance, like he has his hands up, but then like he drops them at back pedal, like they're there but they're not for anything. Like he's not there to pop or get hands on. He just puts them there and like drop to back pedal. So he's a bit too nice, I'd say. He's gonna have to work on maybe a bit of his nastiness in the NFL. But what we did see was his tracking was brilliant, especially on an inside release, like moving laterally across the field, across the middle. He was basically all over receivers, basically giving him a piggyback. Like, so he's going to do really well on that. Like his general awareness on the field where he is and committing to players, seeing them out till the end. Like he made sure that they were never an option. So he's got tremendous upside, I think.
C. Perry has just said, we saw flashes from our secondary during the Patricia regime, but with the additions, the proper system and coaching, we're looking at the no-fly zone. I think that's a bit too much Kool-Aid you're on there, but I hope you're right. Ant, what do you reckon with Iffy?
I like the tape that I see from him. I mean, the tackling ability, is closing down speed. They're all things that this secondary needs badly, and I like his coverage skills. It's a little hard to pinpoint the weaknesses because I think schematically, they were a bit funny with him there. When he's backed off so far, it puts the DB at a disadvantage straight away when you're giving guys, especially ones of the quality we've seen in these videos. It just makes it really hard for them. But I know he has work to do when the ball gets in behind him. But in terms of when the ball's in front of him, I think he's really good, and he can probably start. I reckon there's a possibility for him to start there if training camp goes well, if he can get the little things out of his system right away. I think he's got the potential to have a big impact this year. And if he does, then throw him straight in and let him do it. Because as I say, we just see things from him that we need. The tackling ability, the closing down speed, the coverage. I like what I see with him. So, disappointed we didn't go secondary early. I think we all were a bit during the draft, but I think we've got a good one a little bit later on, and having seen enough of him, I'm quite happy with the addition of him.
He's not someone who's actually got the stats of a premium pick, but in those games we've seen him cause, 2 interceptions, and he actually dropped another one, but he only created the opportunity for himself with good play, good technique in the first place. So, against some really good offenses who admittedly are going to put the ball in the air quite a lot, he's showing enough good tape that I'm happy. There is the odd play where he does kind of whiff, and corners only need to make one mistake a game, and you're just not that good in the NFL. So hopefully he just becomes a bit more consistent. But I don't want to say let's just let him abandon his natural position and go to safety straight away. But I'm looking at about path to the field, and we've got 4 corners who all want to play legit, apart from him. Who could all potentially start as well as him. But I only see one safety. I'm just thinking about probabilities here. Like, if you said to me, you've got Will Harris of the last 2 years, or you've got the tape that we've just seen, I don't know that Will Harris is winning that fight. I just don't.
No, I can't do Will Harris.
But at the same time, we've had our reservations about Amari as well, whether his consistency is going to keep him there. Because if Melifonwu has a good year at outside corner, his days could be numbered. I think, for me, I see him at outside corner and I like what he does there, and I want him to be given the chance to go there first. I know we've got problems with safety, but whichever way we came out of this draft, there was always going to be a positional group where, we were just basically going to abandon for the year because there were too many holes. It could have been linebacker, it could have been receiver, it could have been anywhere. And I think the safety groups might just have to struggle as it does this year. I know he's a hybrid, but I like his tape at outside corner, and I'd like to see him given a go there. I mean, hell, maybe switch Amari inside, because we've said that as well as a possibility. See if he can do it there.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I like him at corner, and I hope they give him a chance, because you've seen his tape. He's a good guy, and he just possesses a lot of traits that we need.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get the
Fingers
best out of him.
crossed. Right, thank you to everyone on the stream for joining us, for commenting. My thanks to Ant and Ryan for breaking it down with me. I'm Matthew Turner. Thank you to all the guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do. We'll see you this time next week for our breakdowns of Aline McNeil and Levi Onzarike, and then we'll follow up the week after with one tape on our first round pick, Penei Sewell. But we'll see you next time on the Royal Lions UK podcast. Bye for now.
Right.